Do you like surprises? Has anyone ever surprised you before? Yes. How have they surprised you? Going to grandma's unexpectedly, or maybe a vacation, right? Have any of you been surprised like that before, not knowing where you're going to go and you end up with someplace you never thought you would be? Well, I have some surprise questions I'm going to ask you. And if these questions surprise you, can you hold this up with a surprise face on it? If this question that I'm going to tell you surprises you, would you hold it up for me? Can you do that? Thank you. Here's one for you. There you go. If you are surprised by these questions, I want you to raise it up, all right? Are you ready? Surprise question number 1. Would you be surprised to know that some fish cough to clear out their gills? Would you be surprised to know that? If you are, raise it up high so I can see it. Thank you. Question number 2. Would you be surprised to know that your nose gets warmer when you lie? I'm sure you're all surprised to know that, right? I was too. Number 3, dolphins shut off half their brain when they sleep. Does that surprise you to know that? Oh, I see one up. Hold it up high so everybody can see. Number 4, strawberries are the only fruits that have the seeds on the outside. Does that surprise you? All right. Number 5, it's impossible to sneeze with your eyes open. Did you know that? Does that surprise you? Nothing surprises you. How about this one? An ostrich eye is bigger than his brain. Does that surprise you? Oh, I see a little bit going up over here. How about tigers have striped skin, not just striped fur? Does that surprise you? A squid has the largest eye in the whole world. Oh, thank you. A crocodile cannot stick out his thumb. Not thumb, tongue. That surprised me that the word thumb came out. A crocodile cannot stick out his tongue. And number 10, are you surprised that in our Bible lesson today, Joseph forgave all of his brothers when they told their father that he was killed by a wild animal? Can I tell you about that story right now? Thanks, guys. Hold on to your surprise faces. In my surprise box right here, I'm going to start out with this right here. This is what I normally do with my preschoolers for Bible time. And I say, good morning. This is Joseph. Say hello, Joseph. Okay, here's Joseph. And his brother's name was Jacob. We're going to put Jacob right over here. And he had 11 brothers. That was a lot of brothers. Can you imagine having that many brothers? And his father, Jacob, loved Joseph so much more than his other brothers, and it made the other brothers very jealous. So jealous, it got even worse than that. His father gave him a surprise present. In the inside of it, what do you think they gave him? A colorful coat. You are right. He was surprised with a beautiful, colorful coat. And that made his brothers even more angry. And he put on, whoops, wrong coat. I was surprised that I did not pick up the right one. Did I leave it in the box? Uh-oh. Okay, where did it go? I know it's in here. I promise you it is. Well, we're going to have to look for that coat. Anyway, Joseph was given a beautiful, beautiful coat. And then his brothers were so angry at him, they decided that they had to do something. So one day, they were out in the pasture, and the brothers were out there. And the father said, Joseph, go down there and check on your brothers. Make sure that they're okay. And Joseph went down there. And the brothers saw him coming, and they decided to plot something against him, something that was not nice. And they found a well, and they threw him in the well. And he was in there, and he was not happy. And some traders came along, and they sold him for 20 silver coins. And Joseph was taken away into slavery. Then what happened was they went and they took his coat and they brought it back to the dad, and they said a wild animal had killed him, and they showed him that it was all torn up. This made the father very, very sad, and he cried. And then what happened years later, when Joseph was in slavery, the king had decided to make him very, very special. He had made him in charge. He was the governor in charge of everything. And there was a famine. Do you know what a famine is? That means there was no food. There was no food. And Joseph saw this in his dream when he was in, right before he was taken away. Oh, I found his coat. There it is. Let's put that on him right there. There's his coat. And in his dream, he saw that there was going to be a famine and that the wheat was going to bow down to him. And that made his brothers angry. That's why they were so, so angry. And also the stars and the moon were going to bend down. So Joseph had a very important job, and he was in charge. And his brothers came one day because there was no food to eat. And guess what happened? They were so surprised to see him, but they didn't recognize him. And Joseph told him who he was, and he was very, very surprised. And Joseph forgave his brothers. Are you surprised that he forgave his brothers? You are surprised. One more time, if you are surprised. Were you surprised after all that happened to him that he was forgiven for throwing him into a well and putting him into slavery? And that's how God works. He is so loving, his grace and mercy, always forgiving us.